What if I told you were designed to be great? In fact, the reality is you were created to accomplish something significant, something special. In life, there are roadblocks that may try to derail you. But guess what? You can look at those challenges and see them as opportunities. Opportunities to grow, opportunities to soar, opportunities to get your music out. Your music is essential. It is needed. And no, we're not talking about melodies, half notes, or treble clefs. Your music is your purpose, the reason for your existence. Walk with us as we embark on this journey to get our music out. But we have to surrender our will to his will.
Yeah.
We got to be careful with the will of the enemy, be careful of others' will. You got to be careful of your own will, but you ultimately got to find yourself in his will, right? And his will is best for your life. Someone said, I need to be found in the middle of his will. I think I wrote that song before.
I heard that song.
Yeah, I want to be found in the middle of your will.
There you
right?
go.
There we go. So it's very important that we find that. So I want to close it out, but before we go there, you got any points on that? I mean,
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the your will because it's like I
Why
think
is it speaking
that
to you like that?
It's so easy to come up with a beautiful game plan for your life and say, you know what, by the age of 25, I'm going to be married. By the age of 20, I'm going to own a house. By the age of 22, I'm going to make sure that I own 16 pieces of property and I'm living in the state of Texas. I mean, all of these things sound so good on paper, but does it really align with God's will?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just it's so easy. And then based on what are we basing that off of? Is it based off of trends? Is it based off of a lack of security that we may have faced in our family? So because of the lack of security or the insecurity that we faced in our family, we're making these plans, but it still doesn't align with God's. I mean,
And what's
our
interesting,
will having
it's
to
interesting you
submit
said
to
that
God's will.
because sometimes we do things because someone else is doing it,
Yeah.
right? And it's not even the plan that God has for your life, but you find
Yeah.
yourself doing it because someone else did it.
That's
And
going
it
back
worked
to,
for them.
Yeah, someone else's will.
Someone else's
Others'
will. Others will. They using their will to do what they got to do, you know what I mean? And let them sort out what it is that they're doing. But don't be influenced by someone else's will, by someone else's path for their lives. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure that we're in sync with the will of God, okay?
You can't make others' will our will.
You can't make others' will your will. So now, how do we get free from...
Wait, but you didn't talk about God's will.
I did.
You did?
God's will, yeah.
God's will was what?
You want to say more about God's will?
No. Tell me more about God's will.
No, what I'm saying is like God's will, he created you for his will.
Yes.
He created you to accomplish his purposes for your life, not your own purpose, not others' purpose, not the enemy's purpose. In fact, he takes what others intend to do with you and he makes something beautiful out of your life. So it could serve his purposes, his agenda, his will for your life. We just got to submit ourselves to his will.
So then how do you find out what his will is?
First, let me tell you. All right. I think first and foremost, to find out his will. His will is found primarily in a relationship with him. All right. God is a relational God. Okay. He's not just a Sunday God. He's not just a 5 a.m. in the morning prayer God. He's a relational God. He's a God that wants to walk with us. He wants to talk with us. He wants to commune with us.
Andy walks with me.
Andy. Right? He wants to you want to say it? Nah, let's go.
Yeah.
So he wants to walk with us. He wants to talk with us. He wants his desires to be ours. You know what I mean? He wants God has a beautiful story that he's writing, you know what I mean, out of your life, but we just gotta...
I think we should attach the joke though, because I'm still laughing. We're gonna attach it.
Yeah, we'll try to attach it. So yeah, I'm just in a season where I just want what God wants for me. All right.
Period.
And it's all in the surrender.
Yeah.
When you're willing to surrender, then it gives him the opportunity to fulfill his mandate over your lives. And I think someone said the other day, I said it in a sermon, of how we have a tendency, oftentimes we tend to write ourselves outside of the story of God. And God is saying, I want to go this direction with you, but God's not going to force you to go in that direction. So sometimes our will contends with God's will. where we want to go for our lives, sometimes it's not in sync with where he wants to go. But God is not going to say, no, 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 please come over. God doesn't do that.
No.
Okay. He's a gentleman, and he
Yes.
cares even about your own will.
Come on.
And that's why he gave us self-will, right?
will.
Free will, right? So that way we can freely choose him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Freely choose and freely relinquish our will to him.
Yes, absolutely. No one wants to be forced to be in a relationship. Imagine me just always carrying you around, baby. Oh, love me, love me, love. Come on, bro.
way.
That's not a relationship. And if you find yourself, my own parent,
love you,
let me
though,
say this, I
but
love
you
you too,
don't have
babe.
to force me.
But if you find yourself in a relationship where you
Don't
feeling forced, you feeling forced to be in a relationship, you feeling forced to make it work. Like it doesn't come organically. It doesn't come like a nice flow. If it's a struggle, man, you're not yoked correctly. Okay, you're unequally yoked, as the Bible says, right? So how do we get free from other people's wills, from the will of the enemy and your own will? Okay, and do it for God's will. Four things. Okay, I know we're loaded today. I'm sorry, guys. First, you gotta decide. Make a decision. Come up with a resolve. Be resolute, right? You got to be resolved in your spirit. Like, listen, I want God's will. Number one, you got to say, I want to do it God's way. You have to decide. If you don't decide, listen, if you don't decide, someone else will decide for you. Okay? If you don't make a decision, and let me tell you something, no decision is a decision anyway. Okay? There's no moving, there's no standing still in the will of God. There's no standing still, okay? It's either progression or regression, right? And God is saying, listen, if you want to be free from what these chains is trying to attach itself to you, you got to first decide to go with me. Decide to do it my way. Decide to put it out the way I intend for you to put it out, right? And secondly, you have to act. Once you decide, you got to make a move. And sometimes, so one of the toughest things to do is to make the first move, the initial step, right? Coming off of the boat, like Peter, right? Coming off the boat is the first. Peter was resolved in the spirit. Jesus, I want to come to you on the water. Okay, it's one thing to say, hey, I want to come, but coming is another thing, and actually stepping out of the boat is another thing. So not only do we make a decision, but we have to act on the decision. Thirdly, you have to stay consistent. Once you take a step, keep stepping, keep walking, keep moving forward, keep moving in sync with it. That's what we call perseverance, right? Because in the process of sanctification, while God is trying to shape us and make us and create his image inside of us, there are certain things that's going to come at you that's going to try to keep you from progressing, keep you from moving forward, keep you from being consistent in the process of where God will want you to be. But you have to come to a place to say, you know what, I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep persevering. I'm going to keep moving in the direction that God promised me. And once you do that, everything will begin to make sense. Lastly, once you decide, once you act, once you're consistent, then you got to stay in sync with the steps of Christ. In other words, you got to stay yoked to Christ. Staying yoked to him is everything. You want to talk a little about that?
Oh, no, go for it.
Staying yoked. I'm over talking right now, right? Gotcha. Yeah, so you want to say anything?
Okay. So you're saying staying yoked?
Staying yoked. Staying in sync with his steps.
Yeah.
How do we stay in sync? What do you learn from the staying yoked? What would you say about that?
Staying yoked is more than, because we talk about a lot, Pat and I have a tendency to talk a lot about like Christianese, right? We use a lot of Christian jargon, which doesn't really get much explanation. So there's a passage that talks about being unequally yoked and, so on and so forth.
Second Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. You can read it there.
So that's the context. So staying yoked, from what I learned from Pastor Patrick, a yoke was an object.
A wooden beam.
A wooden beam.
Yeah.
That would allow two animals to work the land, right? And when they made the reference to being unequally yoked, it was as if we would have an ox as well as a donkey yoked together. what I think that we're talking about right now is being yoked with Christ,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in that, even if we were to look at that image of, the ox and the donkey, you mentioned that Christ then would be the ox
Yes.
because we have donkey ways.
Lord,
Yeah. So
Jesus.
even if God is, saying, or Christ is saying, hey, I got you, we're going to just go forward. We're going to go forward. And then us with our trepidation, our doubt, our
Unbelief.
unbelief, will go in different directions thinking that, no, 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 I got this, God. You know what?
Mm.
Let me go backwards. Let me go backwards because it's
Mm-mm.
more comfortable going backwards.
Mm.
And God's like, nope, we're going to plow this land,
Mm.
so staying yoked with Christ to me means that he's covering my donkey ways.
Mm. He's
Because
covering my
my
donkey
donkey
ways.
ways, because I don't think that anybody really ever gets it right.
Mm.
I don't think that anyone ever will be 100%. As much as we may be yoked with him, we are learning. We're always going to be learning to be conformed into the image of Christ. As we're trying to, as we're yoked with him, we're trying to walk like him. We're trying to talk like him. We're going to smell like him. But it's almost as if he just wants us to just stay connected
Mm.
with him because he knows the way.
Mm.
Even though we may think that we have a clue, there are things that we don't see that
Mm.
he sees. There are things that we may not understand that he understands.
Mm.
And as long as we stay yoked to him, we'll
Yeah.
be all right.
Yeah. Facts.
You know?
Facts.
Yeah.
100%. And I said something in the message of, um, the message was entitled "Stay Yoked," right? Stay yoked to Christ. But the way
Crazy
the way
message,
we
yo.
stay yoked to Christ is by throwing off the yoke of the world,
Yeah.
by throwing off the yoke of culture, by throwing off the yoke of even your own agenda, your
Yeah.
own will, your own desires, right? And I think the way I phrased it was like, the way we carry or pick up Christ's yoke is by switching yokes. We got to switch off the yoke because
Uh-oh.
we've been
For
yoked
all
to
y'all
something.
Haitians, he kept saying all weekends.
Switch your yoke, yo.
Oh
Switch
my
your yoke, yo.
gosh.
You know what I mean? Switching yokes. We switch it off by throwing it off, laying it aside because it's a weight. It's a weight that's gonna keep you stagnant. It's gonna keep you frustrated. It's
Yeah.
gonna keep you disappointed. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to disappoint my Savior. I
No.
want to make sure that I'm walking in sync with His
Yes.
will, His agenda for my life, and I just want to make sure we please Him. And
Right.
one of the things, the best way to please Him is by doing it for Him.
Period.
Doing it for Him, right?
Period. No matter
Do
how
it
it
for
looks,
who?
no matter do it
But
for who.
do it for Him. You know
Talk
what I'm
about
saying?
it.
Instead of doing it for them, instead of doing it for culture, instead of,
Ooh,
you
do it
know,
for him, not for them.
yeah, do it for Him, not for them. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, man, listen, that's today's episode, man. We are super excited to come and to bring this content to you guys, man. If you guys
I
been
don't think it's
blessed,
an easy
it's
topic.
not. It's not an easy topic at all. It's not an easy topic,
Yeah.
but it's necessary. It's necessary that we hear this so that
Yeah.
we can come to a place where I'm doing what I'm doing to please my Father
Right.
primarily,
Right.
right? And once I please Him, Jesus said, my food
My
is
food,
to please
my
the one, is
sustenance,
to do the work. What he said?
the will of
The will of Him who
who
sent
sent
me
me.
and to finish His work,
Come on.
right? My meat, my food, my sustenance,
Yes.
how I get by is by
Yes.
doing the will of my Father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's beautiful too. Like the more that you seek for God's will for your life, it ends up determining everything. It determines how you eat.
Yes,
It
yes.
determines how you make decisions. It determines how you live, what music you listen to,
Yeah,
where you go, where you don't go.
yeah,
And it's almost as if the more that you seek for His will, you become more grounded,
yes,
more centered,
yes.
um,
More
because
solid
more
too.
solid
Yeah,
and unwavered,
yeah.
Because you're here on His mission, for His mission, for His purpose,
And people
Yeah.
respect those who are solid in their
Yeah.
decisions and their
Yeah.
convictions. If I have a conviction to do it like this, and you're not like
Wavering.
six,
6'7".
seven,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Here we
you
go.
know what I mean? People respect that, they honor that, and
Yeah.
I'm praying that God give us some spiritual fortitude
Yeah.
and spiritual concreteness. You know what I mean? So that when we decide, when we are not indecisive but decisive, right, or decided in a specific,
Resolute.
and we resolute
Mm-hmm.
in a decision that God honor that, and you'll see fruit from that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's our time.
Yeah. Get your music out, not their music
Get
out.
your music out, all right? Not them. And another, it's funny, but even with artists, sometimes we make music for them,
For
right?
them.
You know,
And it's not your style, it's not
not
your
your style. You're
genre,
folding. You're trying
but
to be
hey.
someone you're not. You know what I'm saying? But if you're content in how God gave it to you, listen, there's a people, trust me, there's a people that's going to tap
Yes.
into what it is that you
Absolutely.
bring to the table. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because, why do you think we got all these restaurants around? We're about to go eat some Thai food right now. And there's one specific Thai food that, I like the way they do it there. It's not like I don't like the other Thai food, but this specific spot, I'm going to go
Yeah,
here.
man.
You know what I mean? So anyway, get your music out. It's your boy Life.
And pass.
And it's past. So we see y'all on the other side. Let's get it. Share this content, y'all. You know what I mean? Like, subscribe. You know what I mean? All that good stuff. Let's get this going. Peace.